My potlatch name is Wuli Limluth La'aba Ox, which means eyes of deep water. I'm Haida Klinket Simshian and Sisten Waptino Yate. I do culinary arts, I do performance arts, as in dancing with my tribal members. I paint, I bead, I sew. As far as sewing is concerned, usually regalia construction. I dance with a dance group called Githon. It means people of the salmon. We represent the Tsimshian people, but while the majority is my family, we are Haida Klinket and Tsimshian. Dancing with my dance group requires a certain amount of discipline as far as the songs go, the dances go. The songs that we sing are in the language of Samalgic. It's the language of the Tsimshian people. As well as having to learn the dances, but you learn that a bit through the language, and it's demonstrative to learn the meaning of the words. And my dance group leader, David Boxley, is very passionate about our language revitalization. Great significance and importance, because not only do we have very few speakers left, and many of them are elderly. Language says a lot about the environment that you're in. It tells you about place markers, tells you about the ecosystem, tells you about the people who were there. When I was about 15, my grandmother said, "It's time for you to dance." And when grandma says to do something, you do it. And I grew a lot. It was profound and nerve-wracking, of course, to dance in front of people, but you learn quickly, but you feel the sense of pride, love, and the kind of joy that culture brings to you. And it definitely started reworking my mind and my view on life shortly after, and how I carry myself. So my dancing with my group is very dynamic and group oriented, but one song that I dance in particular is called Mouse Woman, and she shows up in a lot of oral stories of various Northwest tribes along the coast. It means a lot to me to be able to dance that dance and put that mask on, because my auntie, who had passed 3 years ago, also danced that dance, and it's humbling. It gives me like a piece of her, a piece of comfort. We have songs oriented towards women, and one of my favorites is called Auntie's Lullaby. And the women dance in a circle to a very lullaby tune, demonstrating through their hands and their movements, different kind of caretaking roles that we like to instill for our younger generations, and that support that comes from your aunties, and maybe your non-aunties but our aunties, and your grandmas and your other grandmas. That nurturing role that we have in our children's lives. I also dance a song called Eagle Spirit, and I dance that song because I come from the Luxkig clan. The Tsimshian people come from 4 different clans: the Gishbudwada, Ganhada, the Wolf Clan, and Luxkig. And so in that song, in that dance, I get to represent who I am and who I come from matrilineally. I feel like it's hard to answer that humbly, because I feel like if there was any which way that I exhibit these teachings that I have come to find from celebrating my culture and investing in my culture, is that I like to think I'm a pretty grounded person, and I try to keep an energy of calmness and serenity, and always striving for harmony. I've had to determine my values, and I think values differ from person to person, and people should explore that. And I know how I want to carry myself in that way. I think it's important to be grateful. It's something important to give. Certainly my dance group leader, David Boxley. He's definitely hard on me like a dad, and we all need that. He sets high standards for me, and that's where I know where the bar lies. I feel like what I have learned the most through dancing with my dance group and participating in my culture is finding a place for myself in the world, and an increasingly global world. And our ancestors are in everything. They're in the trees, they're in the wind, they're in the soil, and it's easy to forget that in such a industrialized world. Oh man, he means everything to me. It really comes back to what he sees in me. And sometimes I can't see it in myself, but he sees it, and he holds me to that standard, and he holds everybody to that standard, and he loves very immensely. And he shows that through his actions. He shows that through his discipline and his passion for the culture and our language. When you connect to your culture, you find out that yes, you are important and you're loved and you're supported, but you're a part of something larger. We have a story to tell. Our actions tell a story. Our lives tell a story. In my culture, we have a saying, and it's Saint Antoine, and it means may your name always be good. And that took on great significance after I received my name through potlatch, because David Boxley was always telling me, you know, you need to carry your name well. Carry your name well so somebody will want your name because of the way you carried it and the way you walked it and the way you spoke your truth. I try to be present. I try to always be present. Just be aware of where my mind's at, where my emotions are at, how am I interacting with people. It's difficult to state the importance for people to know that we're still here. We're still alive. Our culture's alive. And we intend to keep it that way. So in that space of dance, you get to see our pride, you get to see our spirit, and we're not holding back, you know. Let me show you my heart. And I think that's valuable. Play a role together, especially with art. What part of the sensation of making art that I like, and it's the spontaneity, and it's in the moment, and those are things that are kind of required of you while you're dancing. You're in the moment. Yes, there's some structure to it, but I feel like that's how they relate. The work that I do in culinary arts, I studied it through school, and I learned all the strict ways about how you move through a kitchen and you hold yourself and you operate, and I do think that lends a part of how I am a part of my dance group, how I am a team member. But in terms of cooking, it does come back down to being in the moment. You have that split second. You're working with the elements and the materials, and what are you going to do with them? I don't want to be too political, but we have that matrilineal knowledge, we have that feminine knowledge we have that feminine view of the full circle of things, and how nothing is disconnected. In the world that we live in, the patriarchal world, the industrial world, they don't fit that in, that you're going to meet the end at some point. And that's for us to continue to embody our pride and to continue to learn our culture. We provide an example, and we're going to have the knowledge that people need when it comes to time.
Well, I was born 1955 in the beautiful city of Coolidale, Washington. My first given Indian name was by my uncle. He called me Panaxpayapam. And I didn't realize that my uncle was Dimipu. I didn't know what that meant, until I got older. And Panaxpayapam was like a little bull. I grew up here in around Spelum and Coolidale and Keller, mainly in the woods. I was raised a lot of my time by my grandmother, Wakista Ayuks. So we lived up at the lake, Auhai Lake. To be raised this way, it's like I was telling James, this flute, it grew to me as a young boy. My grandpa had a lot of dignitary friends. He had a lot of friends from all over. He had congressman friends. He had people. We used to have to go to the Boy Scouts in Farragut State Park, and we used to have to put our outfits on and go dancing around, with the non-natives, as we called them, the Boy Scouts. Asked her to use that for her documentary. I kind of laughed at first, but when I seen it, and it really reminded me that people over the years have used my music in different senses that way, and I always just called it a blessing, because that's what it is. It's just you're sharing your gift with someone else, and maybe that someone else will be touched by it and say, hey, teaching is being a parent is to tell your child, do something good for someone every day, and it'll come back to you in a different way. Maybe a gift, maybe just like that turtle. That turtle flute had the biggest thought in my mind, because I would see these guys up there with their little ceramic turtle flutes, and I'd watch them, and I wished for one. But when that lady said, hey, I'm gonna make you a turtle flute out of a real one, I kind of chuckled and said, okay. And I wanted to ask why. But when she brought her mom all the way from Saskatchewan down here to be prayed for by my mom and my stepdad and others, my uncles, my aunts, and she got up and walked, that made me realize that I'm walking this one road. And I like Lauren says, you don't look back at your faults. Don't look back at your hardships, because your grandchildren need you to keep looking forward, to help them get forward. Around doing odd jobs for other elders, and it's really funny how many of those other elders don't look at me as an elder. They look at me as a little kid yet, My Uncle Nelson is the primest example. hey, yeah, I need you to come mow my lawn. So I get my riding mower up and I go up there and I mow his lawn. Then the next day, housing calls me up and asks me why I'm doing that. Because he's my uncle and he asked me to. You got to realize that, we've gotten so far away from just giving that we're always doing this now. I love to give. But it's like my wife told me, she says, when are you going to start doing for you? And I laughed and I said, I do it every day. Because every day one of these goes with me. From off going to work, on the way home we'll stop somewhere in the mountains or somewhere. We're on the road. We're about a little bit. That's strength. Because I ain't no spring chicken. So when after working labor all day, when you're coming home, you're feeling this fatigue and tired, and so I pull off and I'll play and then I'll get home. I think in reality, I think I have Lord Swan to thank for giving me that flute so that I could make it work. Because he said if once you get it to work, it's your blessing. Because I took it back to him, was going to hand it back to him like that. He goes, no, you don't understand. He says, you will never find a hand-ribbed flute. None of this is the only thing that was ever done by a tool. If you look, is he used a rod to burn that through. Everything else, he split the wood. You look at it, it matches all the way across, both sides. He told me, he says, I'll tell you what, he says, that's yours. He said, use it. I'm this so-called recovering alcoholic that I didn't know how to use it that way. I was like this reborn again baby that I had to learn how to walk again on my own. Now with my buddies holding me up with a Budweiser, The only way you can play this, if it's dry like that, don't play. Really weird. Once this thing starts to dry up though, it quits. Now I hope I gave you enough music, because Farron said you guys needed music.
My name is Isaac Tonasket, and I'm from the Colville tribe, but I lived on the Spokane tribe my entire life. And my dad was in the old Colville, my mom's in the old Spokane, and I really like to sing. I've only been seriously singing for like 2 years, but my that's mainly my art is singing. And I do all genres. I do hand drum, big drum, play on my guitar, play on the keyboard. Like, I find music is love. I love music. Music started ever since I was really born. My dad played a lot of, like, he was mainly on big drum, and he would make beats, and we have like his little closet, like he made that a little studio for all the people that wanted to come in. And I don't know, I've been around it pretty much my whole life, but I never really, like, I sang for a little bit, and then my dad passed on, and then I waited my dad passed away when I was going into the 6th grade, and I didn't start singing and like seriously until one of my friends started playing some hand drum songs on YouTube, and that really caught my eye. I was like, that guy looks cool. Like, I want to do that. And I went home, I was trying to freestyle a couple songs, and I was like, wow, I could get up there and range. And that's pretty much what kicked it off for me. Like, I've been singing seriously for about 2.5 years, ever since my sophomore year, pretty much. Like I said, my dad, like, he made beats, and like he had his own little keyboard, and I was like, I remember one day he's all really proud, and he's all like, check this out, son, and I thought it was all cool. I still know how to play what he showed me. And how we really started, like, with guitar, and I don't really know, I just like watch YouTube, and I seen like Ed Sheeran, or I watch other people play, and I started off with piano, and that's what got me going piano. Then piano started getting kind of boring for me, and then I have like a couple friends that started playing guitar, and that inspired me to want to go get a guitar. And so I went and got a guitar, and I've only been playing ever since the beginning when we got locked down from COVID-19. But pretty much just people inspiring me is what made me want to hop on other instruments. Like, how I love music is, I don't really know, like, I love healing people, because music, when I play music, I heal people. And I just like really love music. Like, without music, I don't know what I would be doing, honestly. Like I tell my mom all the time, like I've never drank, never smoked, I've never done anything really. And I've always I don't know what I'd do without music. I just love it. Like, without music, I was just a little rezzer. I just got the chills from like thinking of that. Like, that video was honestly like my second video that I've ever posted. I was like in the dark for 2 years or 1 year when I was just singing around. My mom kept telling me, get out there, like, you need to show everyone what you could do. And I was like, that was when my grandma had a stroke. I only showed her once that I could sing and made her cry. That was before when she had a stroke. And then I sang for her again, and my auntie was all exposed me because she recorded me. And that was my first video, and that got like 8,000 views. And then I went to a conference in Portland, and that was my second video I've ever posted. That was my second time ever singing in front of anybody. And then when that video blew up, like, it made me like have a dream. Like, I want to be a singer, like I could do this. Like, and it feels really cool when people say, hey, you're that kid that like sings in front of that waterfall and all that. Like, that happened when I was in Portland, like that week. It was super crazy, but knowing that doing what I love impacts people that much, it warms my heart. I love it. That song's really important to me because it moves people, and like, especially Native Americans, especially if you're not even Native American, like, people all around the US, all around the world know the issue of MMIW. Like, like for Native Americans, that's the third leading cause of Native American death. And I really like sharing it, and I'll share that song with you. Hookah. Hey. Hookah.
My name is Dylan Sanidad. I'm Haida, Tlingit, and Tsimshian. The art I make is traditional coastal art. Okay, my name's Tonasket. It means diving eagle. And my mother was an eagle from Eagle clan, so that makes me an eagle. And my brother, because we are matrilineal and we follow our mother's side. So her mother was eagle too, and so on and so on. And that's where my my family line comes from, I guess, is the Eagle clan. Yeah, we do dancing. I carve wooden masks and props we use to dance. Also apprentice for totem poles. And well, it's kind of everything for me. I like to represent being native, and there's no better way to do it than doing the traditional things. My great-great-grandfather was a famous master carver from Heidelberg, Alaska, and I kind of carry on his traditions. And I'd say David Boxley, I'm under apprenticeship with him right now. I kind of just grew up being a part of his dance group, and all of a sudden now he's my mom's husband, so that kind of worked out. Big inspiration to me. He's very respected in the Tsimshian Nation, and I just kind of want to follow his footsteps. Very important to pass the knowledge to the younger generation. I'm kind of gifted right now to be able to get teachings from David Boxley, and I just want to continue on that, carrying on the tradition to keep it alive, because it is a dying culture. Even with language and stuff, there's not very many speakers in our tribes left, and it's just good to know that there's people out there that want to keep on continuing. not doing my culture things. But now I do it full time now, and it's kind of like all put together, and you know, that's what makes it real. I don't know how else to put it, but I just want to put on for, you know, the culture and all the native people. I feel like it is a lost art, and it may slowly die down, but if we keep working, then we can keep it alive.
What place do you go into before you dance in your mind, in your spirit?
I don't know, I kind of just put on the mask, and I feel like I'm someone else dancing behind the mask. You kind of just get this inner feeling with yourself and your surroundings and the floor, and you kind of just get in your own zone, I guess. Is how I feel. Just uplifting feeling, you know, to really dance my hardest out, because you know, my ancestors are watching me all the time, and I kind of just want to make them proud. Most likely the knowledge, you know, that our people have been passing down the same traditions from generation to generation. Yeah, and you kind of just want to keep that going. I was always inspired by my grandmother, Carol Brown. We call her Nana. Growing up, she would always make her own stuff to sell at the vendors. And I just remember seeing her on the dinner table cutting out shapes and our clan crest and putting them on clothes, and yeah, she sell really good, and I don't know, I just kind of always liked that feeling that she got, that she sold a lot, and it made her feel good. Most of our dances come from traditional stories that were passed along from tribe to tribe. Some have similar stories, some are the same, but usually our dances involve, yeah, our clan crests, our animals, sometimes like warriors and wars, yeah, and just canoe songs. There's a bunch of songs that we do. Most of them that are involved with mass are, yeah, with the animals and just traditional stories. The most important thing is having your clan. On my tunic here I have my eagle crest. That means a lot to me. It's where I come from and what my family represents. And I'd say my leggings I really like a lot. My mom weaved them when she was learning to weave, and they just represent something with the chiefs, like hierarchy. It kind of just makes me feel good. Whoever books us, sometimes we have local gatherings that happen annually, but with COVID going on, it's kind of like nothing's really happening right now. But usually whoever books us to dance, we've been to Italy before, and Disney World, and yeah.
So you belong to like a dance group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my my mentor, David Boxley. Yeah, I'm in his group. Yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, People of the Salmon. Yeah. It's filled up with my family. There's probably about 15 of us, 15 to 20 of us. Yeah, once David married my mom, he got all of us. Yeah. I'd say that time we went to Italy, it was for an international festival of cultures. Yeah, indigenous peoples around the world. It was a big gathering, and we met these indigenous Japanese people, the Ainu, and they're pretty cool to get to know and share their culture with us, because it's pretty similar. They worship bears and spiritual animals as well, but they live off the water, so yeah, it was pretty cool to meet other indigenous groups from somewhere else. Yeah. I just hope to represent our people well, and know that it's not just for me, it's for all of us. To let the world know we're still here and we're still strong.